What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Lex and Cash podcast. Today, we discuss Marcus's childhood traumas, how much people at Goldman Sachs make, and if we make more than them, and how to improve your offer with just flashlight and diamonds. Enjoy. Now is when you can finally talk about the Tai Lopez thing. We've been waiting for this for like 3 months. What happened?
You know what it is? I just got to the point where I was like, I don't even know if it's going to get uploaded. Like, Tai doesn't upload, apparently. And I know this because before I went on his podcast, Andre Haycall Jr., the client ascension guy, went on his podcast. And that one was before me. It hasn't went up either. So I'm like, if he hasn't even went up, I'm like not next in line. And I'm like, I just want to talk about it. So,
well, did it go out? Not yet?
No. So I'm just going to talk about it, which is why I put it on the list. But I think you talked about it like 4 or 5 weeks ago, the landing pad for luck. Was it on the podcast?
Yeah, it was on the podcast. It was like 2 months ago.
Yeah, it was like an end of podcast exclusive where only the true listeners know what we're talking about. But essentially, the Spark Notes is that a landing pad for luck is essentially if you go and you DM, a handful of people that are in either your target market and, it's a network that people you want to network with. Maybe it's high-level influencers, people above you. If you do it enough over time, eventually you're just creating a landing pad for luck. And the way to do it is you are just providing value with nothing in return, sending DMs to people. And I'll give you an example. A practical way that I did it is I had saw Tai make a thread, or it was a tweet or a thread. And I essentially was like, this is not good for the algorithm. So I sent him a DM. I'm like, you should do this, this, and this. It'll hit way better. And he ended up responding, asking me a bunch of questions about Twitter posts. This is back when it was Twitter. And he essentially was like, come on the podcast. And I was like, yeah. Like, what? So, and ever since, he only texts me to ask questions about Twitter because I'm now I must be the Twitter expert in his network. But it was the first person I DM'd doing this whole landing pad for luck and one of the last. So it's just like I had 100% hit rate. So I ended up going on his podcast and it was really cool. I wanted to share one of the nuggets I got while we were doing the pod. If it ever drops, you'll see it. But I asked him about this thing, effective theatrics, and I kind of made that phrase up. But what it essentially encompasses is what all of the big quote unquote gurus do in order to get their ethical message across. So what I mean by that is if you think of Sam Ovens, right? He's like not like a bro. He's not like a finance like douchebag bro, right? But in his marketing for consulting.com, he put on a blue suit in a high-rise New York apartment, like on Billionaires Row, and was like acting like that. It was like theater. But he did that in order to sell his actually good program that got amazing results. And I look at Andrew Tate, he says all the most outlandish things, Lambo marketing, fighting, he said all the most crazy stuff, became the most Googled man on the planet. But if you go to the bottom of the funnel, his product's actually good. So it's just, what I'm calling it is effective theatrics. And I asked Tai if he knew what he was doing when he did that back with the Here in My Garage, blah, blah, blah. He just said his answer was, I've always been a marketer. So I think that's a yes. And then long story short is I ended up getting a client through the podcast. Another guest who was on right before me or right after me. We connected through Tai and now he's my client.
Oh, there you go. Okay. For people listening, the landing pad for luck is essentially giving without asking for anything. So landing pad for luck could be many things. I had an SEO guy who just did SEO for people. This is just writing for people. Some people just give advice. I did designs early on. I don't know if I told this story. Chris Johnson, he's the Wealth Squad guy. He makes a lot of money, like a couple million a month just with this like low ticket community. And he had like 70,000 followers when I started on Twitter, and I didn't have any skills at the time, but I understood the value of him sharing my stuff. So I went on Fiverr, paid $7 for a design of his face, and then I sent it over to him saying, hey, thank you for your stuff. By the way, big fan. I think I asked him for a retweet at the time, which I wouldn't advise now, but I did at the time. And he did. He followed me back. He retweeted me. And that was kind of cool, right? Because that's how I got my first 200 followers. And that was the moment I got hooked. When I saw that when I refreshed, every time there was something new, like a new profile picture, I was like, yeah, I'm in. I'm totally in. Then I fucked it up because when, I got a little bit of momentum. And when he retweeted my stuff often, and at that point, all you do is you shut up and you just are very thankful for it. Or maybe you just say thanks. You don't try to milk it. And I try to milk it, which was wrong. So every time he retweeted me, I would plug in my newsletter below or plug in something else below. And he eventually understood that it was not a good idea to keep retweeting me any stop, which was kind of shitty from me. So I know, just a big takeaway. If you get something, just say thanks and then don't do anything else. Don't try to milk it. Just say thanks.
You know, it's funny. I actually also this is like a lesson on iterating. And because I feel like a lot of people know how to take advice, they don't know how to iterate on it and build upon it. So like the advice that you gave me on the landing pad for luck, I've actually iterated on that. And this is actually how I spoke to Layla Hormozi literally last week. And it's which is another crazy story. And it's like, for me, the landing pad for luck, you told me like the DM strategy, which I don't really do as much. But what I do is anytime I see an opportunity for anything related to moving my business, network, level, skills, whatever forward, I just quickly do it. So I'll give you 2 examples of one that didn't work and then the one that worked. So 2 examples. So one, I saw when X dropped X hiring. So at X dropped at X hiring, and they were like, we're hiring for the Twitter team, blah, blah, blah. I went on there and I went and applied for like the marketing director thing, whatever, but I didn't apply as like, I want to work at X. I was like, I run like the biggest X agency in the world. Like, I want to be an advisor, something like that. You know, like those 1 in a billion shots. I'm like, 1 in a billion shot. Like, I want to be on the fucking board of Twitter. Like that's actually how I think. And I know it's not going to do anything, but if you do it enough times, you will land something. And I like 2 or 3 weeks later, I've actually applied to this like 2 or 3 different times. It's whenever Layla does her live Q&As on YouTube and LinkedIn, and she does it all the time. And I've asked many questions in there and I never get picked, but every time she posts and I see it, I apply with a question to see if I get picked. And this time around, this is like my third time doing it. I got picked as one of the people to come up and ask a question in her live Q&A, which is on her YouTube channel right now. You can go scroll to the...
Dude, when I saw that, I messaged you directly. Because I'm going to talk about what you did with it, because it was so cool. Okay, so you did a space about it. You did a space. It was just you in the space, but you said asking Layla Hormozi a question, something like that. And then it was her talking to you. And I'm like, Marcos, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? Are you tied with her? Like, are you cheating on me with this podcast now? Like, what's going on here? Like, what's the problem? You're like, no, it's just, I just applied.
Yeah, I didn't even plan that out. But after I got picked, I was like, how can I repurpose this the best way? And I was like, I got it. I'll go to Twitter space. I'll tag her. It's almost like she's in my Twitter space willingly. And I just went live, put the phone up to my laptop microphone, and it was like us we literally were having a conversation, a 5-minute space, and now it's in the highlights. You can do this now. Feature on X, you can create a highlights tab. It's now in my highlights tab is all of my best tweets and videos, and one of them is now I asked Layla a question. We talked about building a culture and like team culture, which is probably why I got picked, because it was like a very CEO kind of question. But yeah, so
I like that you pinned it, because then people persuasion isn't a choice. You just get persuaded by things. If you see someone who's tied with a famous athlete, let's say someone's tied with Lionel Messi, and then you see him walking, you're going to think of him in a different way. So when they see your name, space, Layla Hormozi, even if they know the whatever, right? But they're going to be like, oh, this guy talks, right? He gets it.
I'm just going to give away unlimited sauce in this podcast, but like my highlights section is actually just like, it's almost exclusively tweets and videos and whatever I've done on X that is my best pieces of content that have either been replied to or relate to big names in the space or did really well. Like one of them's a thread that went viral. One of them's the Layla thing. One of them's my tweet where Alex Becker replied. Like, you see how that positions you as an authority if you are naturally being responded to by these kinds of people. It's kind of like when people follow you on X and it says followed by. It's the same thing. It's like you can now associate me. It's like, how can you lower the scamometer of your perception? Like when someone has no idea, like, can I lower the scamometer to actual zero? As close as you can get to zero, and you'll never get to zero, mind you, ever. You'll never get to zero, but the closest you can get to zero is the higher way. That's like gonna make your sales so much easier, because they're gonna come to the call flaming hot.
It's also why people on their landing pages, they have the Google icon and the YouTube icon and the Facebook icon, but it's not like they're not partners of Google and Facebook. They're like
Yeah.
employees at these companies use us.
Yeah.
So it's like Jared at YouTube.com is like, fuck it. Put the YouTube logo on the landing page. We're in. That's it.
I'm trusted by like
Yeah.
I drank a Coke yesterday and I'm gonna put it on my webpage, trusted by Coke.
you I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. But it's equivalent of when I first started. I'm not a ghostwriter anymore, but when I was a ghostwriter, right? But then I hired a friend. He's my VA, and now I'm an agency. I'm a ghostwriter again, just because it's two of us, right? So it's like that's a little thing. It's it's you gotta schmoove a little bit. You gotta move a little bit.
I think there's two. Yeah, for me, it's like I would hate to be in the middle. I like the two when it comes to like the positioning of agency. I think there's two completely opposite sides, but the worst thing you can be is in the middle. You never want to be like that tiny one person agency or like the kind of freelancer who's gonna be an agency guy. Like that's like your lowest authority. I think the two high ends are an agency, like you said. Like as soon as you can position yourself as a business and not just like a person trying to make it, you'll have way more authority. And then, which is what I did, obviously, with the Birdhouse. I bought hats at like, you know what I mean? And then the other side is like the high-level freelancer who's like seven-figure freelancer. I used to work for Agora and BlackRock. Like I've seen that starting to pop up lately is these high-level freelancers who are like, I only work for like the people I want to work for. Like I see that as high authority too. So you don't want to be in the middle ground. You want to be on the ends.
What you're really saying is, fuck your building in public. That's not a thing. We should not have that, bro. Like some people. Okay, so I'm not trying to shit on you guys. Like all respect for the hustle and the work, but this is wrong. Like when you're trying to sell service, coaching, whatever, right? And you message someone and they see on your bio, on my way up to a 10K a month business, that looks horrible. Documenting my journey and building whatever, trying to make it. Like how is that supposed to make clients go, damn, this guy's so legit? Trying to build a 10K a month agency, like, man, this guy, he's got some credibility. It doesn't work that way. Like, and at that point, it kind of messes with your priority, because what that kind of shows, in my opinion, is that you want to be more popular than you want to be rich. Because that is popular with the crowd, right? The people who are selling your stuff, your competitors, that may not be popular with your clients. And as we know over here, likes and cash.
Yeah, and on the topic of positioning and competition, I wrote on the pod thread because I had created an entire course that was essentially going to teach people how to build an agency, and I thought about it, and I actually went ahead and just deleted the shit out of it. I was like, why would I do? So this is like, there's so many things that added into this. The first thing was JK being like, don't do that. So that was one. And I don't mind, like, I see the door open for like an info product, but not teaching people how to be my competition. Like that's where there's a problem. I think it only works right if it's a funnel. So that was one. Second is I saw this Mark Cuban TikTok that I literally made a reply to where he was like, why would someone sell you a course on how to create competition against themselves if they were that good? Like I saw that and I was like, that's a good point. And I started to think about it and I was like, I need to think so much bigger. Like I could see this being $100 million company. I cannot see it being $100 million company if at $50K a month, I'm like, I'm going to teach people how to hit $10K a month. Like it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't quite fit for my brain. So, and I started seeing all my competition dropping. Like people are quitting left and right, dropping info products, becoming one-man creators, traveling the world, all this shit. And I'm like, good for them. That's great for them. They're building lifestyle businesses. But now I'm like, maybe it's a war of attrition. Maybe I just have to like not die and I'll just be the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just got to outlast people.
Yeah, because people quit left and right. Like they move on to something else. They switch businesses. They realize that it's not for them. Like if you just outlast everyone else, like you'll be pretty good.
Bro, there was a guy in school. His name was Douglas. So Douglas, in my opinion, he could have been the next just fucking huge thing. Dude, he was like, you know, like the trifectas. It's like chess player, fucking video game addict, and incredible at math. Like that's all you need to make, right? He had everything, and he just didn't do anything with it. I'm like, oh man, like he could have been my ass, but like I outlasted him. I stayed for longer, and to that point you were saying, info products and little things. I had the interview with Justin Welsh, and I asked them, does your advice still apply for small accounts? And like Justin Welsh, the solopreneur dude, right? Everybody's trying to launch courses because of him, or a lot of people. I don't want to say everybody, but you know what I mean. He's like, yeah, what? Yeah, thank you, Justin. Yeah, I love you. Great. It was a cool one. I actually enjoyed it. Dude, guy spends $40K a month, but we're going to get into that in a bit. Anyway, I asked them, does your strategy, which is courses and, one-person stuff, still work for small audiences? He's like, fuck no. It's such a client business, bro. I'm like, okay, great. Now we have that distinction done. Because it's such a lie, bro, that you're going to have, with a few thousand followers, launch a course and it's going to be stable. First month is probably going to be great. Second month is going to be complete shit. Courses as in PDFs or videos. It just doesn't work that way.
Well, that's why I tweeted too. I tweeted like 2 weeks ago. I'm like, the reason the bigger accounts are telling you to do this is because they don't know how to build real businesses themselves. Like, client businesses are hard. Like, you have to be good at business to build a business. Like, it's not as easy as like just coming out with a Twitter growth course and hitting 20K followers and then teaching other people how to 20K. It's just like, it's so much more complex. Like, business is actually not as simple as that. And I think people are starting to realize, like, at 1,000 followers, you can have like 10K a month if you know how to build a real business. But at trying to do this whole like course PDF thing, it's just like, it's like a race to the bottom. You know what I mean? There's just so much competition.
Let's say you're at 1K followers. What's your plan to want to hit 10K a month? And I'll tell you my plan.
Do I have money or am I broke?
You make like 5K from a 9 to 5 per month.
5K, but I have to use that 5K to live. I can't just like put all that 5K into my business.
Let's say you wanted to put like $500 a month on this thing.
I'm that one guy that asks way too many questions.
Yeah. You're the actually guy right now. You're the actually.
You know what? We're about Guatemala.
Doesn't fucking count. Doesn't fucking count. Internet, baby. Let's go.
All right. Anyways, 1K followers and I'm broke. I would open up a checklist.
Actually, no, you're not broke because this podcast is not for broke people. You have some money to spend. Let's go.
Okay. I have some money to spend. I'm going to go and I'm going to make an account with Tweet Hunter or Hypeshare. I don't care which one you use.
I'm gonna
pay $50 a month for that. I'm going to run multiple auto DMs per week. I'm going to run multiple threads per week. I'm going to run 3 to 5 tweets a day. And I'm also going to send about 100 DMs a day. Warm, cold, whatever. I'm going to do exactly what I did when I started. I'm going to scrape the followers of all the big accounts like Alex Carvosi and anyone that could be interested in my thing. I'm going to send 100 DMs a day. I'm going to do all that content. I'm going to engage like crazy. I'm going to win because I'm just going to out volume everybody else. I'm going to sell a service that's at, do I have skills in this hypothetical?
God, you know how to write in English.
So I'm going to get a client for 1K a month. I'm going to get them results in month 1. That 1K is going to pay for that entire business on top of the sweat equity. And then in month 2, I'm going to use that case study and those screenshots and client results to now charge 3K a month. Then I'm going to go charge 5K a month. And then in 90 days, I'll be at 10K a month.
There you go.
Guaranteed.
That's my man. There you go. Yeah. There you go. Put it in.
Exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. That's not.
I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd monetize potential energy on this one. I would think about what do the people with the money that I can find on whatever platform I'm in are doing that's wasted. That's like they're not doing anything with it, right? This is what the short form content people did in a way. I'm not saying do short form. This is just an example. They understood that the guys were doing video, but they weren't using all that potential energy into chopping it up and making it shorts. I would think about where are all these guys having wasted energy and how can I turn it from potential into kinetic energy and make it look in an offer as saying as you're not doing anything with it, so you might as well let me do something with it. And then at that point, it's just an easy sell. That's what I would do. I would do completely client business.
You know what I would add to the strategy that I did, because something that there's new metas that exist now than when I went. I would include all of the features on X that I didn't get to, that I wasn't able to use back then. I would go on probably 2 spaces a day in my niche and just get up stage and just start spitting game. I would do that. I would actually do 95 client style DMs, and then 5 would be networking and landing pad for Lux. I would add that in there. And I would use multimedia on X. I would do the live streams and the videos as well. Wherever I can utilize all of the features, and I want to be someone that does everything and just looks like an absolute expert on the platform. Now, obviously, for me, like I'm an X guy, so I'm talking X, but you can do this on any platform. But yeah, I think if you got to be an expert, and like if you're gonna sell X services, you need to be doing everything X. If you're gonna sell Instagram services, you need to be doing everything Instagram. Like you can't be the Instagram guy who just sends some DMs and barely posts any reels.
Yeah,
right? You gotta be doing stories, reels, ads if you can, lives, DMs, posts, comments. Like you got to do it all. If you want to be the Instagram guy, be the Instagram guy.
I like it. Let's switch over here.
This was the most practical first 20 minutes of a pod ever.
Yeah, which means that the next ones are not gonna be practical.
All right, brain nerds. Can we talk about some like noodle brain concepts?
Well, we're gonna. What's your morning routine?
If I wish you guys could see it, because there's just a bullet point that says cigarette. What does that mean?
It's just a story. Okay. Well, we're gonna back. Okay, so we're in Eastern Europe right now. We're in Poland, but I read a Lobo tweet, man, and these tweets just hit me. He said, "My best moments are alone, but my best memories are with others." I'm like, damn, I felt that. So when I came to Poland, I invited my friends. So I'm here with Christian and Sebas, and we're going out. We went out on a bender, right, for like 3 days in Warsaw, Poland. It was great. We did a bunch of shit, but like at some point we lost directions. We just didn't know how to get back home. We're just walking. It's 4 a.m. here in Poland, and there's this like huge like Polish dude just walking, and we're trying to ask him like, bro, like, do you know where this place is? He just didn't understand the shit about what we said. So it's like, bro, do you know where this place is? He just goes, cigarette? And we're like, cigarettes. So he just, and that's what happened. That's how you make friends.
I feel like you could hold, if that giant Eastern European cigarette man decided to like hurt you, that you could just like survive.
Oh, I wouldn't be here. Like that's just this, like not nor me, not them.
Aren't you like a jiu-jitsu blue belt? What's going on?
I'm a white belt, bro. Okay, I quit. Actually, I'm not training anymore because here's another Poland story. So I trained for like a year or something, and then I didn't train for 3 months because I went to Poland. And then someone asked me, well, you haven't trained in 3 months. Like, do you miss it? And deep down, I wanted to say yes. But the answer was, no, I do not miss having a dude's armpit on my face. So I just said, no, I don't
like,
really. I don't really miss it.
I probably choke out 90% of the world anyway. Like, I think I've learned enough. I feel like a year of training, you're like literally in the top 10% of the world's grapplers. Like, you don't even need the, unless you love it, you don't need to go any further.
Bro, that's the thing. Like I actually believe I can. I can't because my confidence in my combat ability and my combat ability are inversely correlated, at least right now. Bro, starting out, like I go to a club, I go somewhere, and it's like somebody pushes me out. To my friend, I'll be like, yo, hold me. Like, I'm crazy. I just, when this happens, I just see red. You don't know me, bro. You don't know me. Right now, something happens, and I'm just like, yeah, I ain't trying to get shot in the face. Like, it's, like, that's good. Bro, 8-time world jiu-jitsu champion, I think so. Leandro Lowe, huge guy, like, huge name in the community. He's at a club, right? And they're partying, they're having a good time. Somebody pushes him. He's a 8-time world champ. Somebody pushes him. Guy walks up to him, throws him down, mounts him, and says, do not do that shit to me again. And the guy's like, okay. He wakes up, he stands up, goes back to the stable. Bro, guy pulls out a gun, shoots him in the face. 8-time world jiu-jitsu champion done just like that. So, you know, I'm a practical guy, you know, and that's strategy, right? But I'm a practical guy. So I'm thinking, what if I just get a gun? What if I just learn how to do these things? Like, isn't that just, I mean, that's
Yeah, we're so alike. Like I was telling Julia, I was like, I really want to go do judo or jujitsu because I like the culture and I like the belt system and I like the community. But from a practical perspective, I'm like, I feel like the first thing I should learn is I already know how to shoot. I feel like the next thing I should learn in order of operations. I know how to run and I know how to shoot. So I think the next thing I need to learn is boxing because I can punch and then run or shoot. You know what I mean? Like then I feel like my last resort is like if someone takes me to the ground, I need to know judo or jujitsu. But like I don't even get to the point where I need the gun. Never mind the punching. Never mind the jujitsu. Like you know how serious of a situation would be because I'm a nice person. Like for me to get to the ground is gonna be like are you dying? Audio listeners won't know what's going on, but he like can't himself.
Because imagine if Julia then responds, "Baby, I just asked you where do you want to eat," and you, and you go with, "No, but I gotta learn boxing." It's like, baby, I did not ask you that. It's like men will literally walk in order of what you would do in a fucking combat situation instead of saying sushi.
She did not ask about this. I obviously brought it up myself. my inner turmoil as a man, I'm like, which martial art should I learn? She's like, I just want coffee.
I had a friend. He was like, he's a Casanova dude, right? So he'll just go out to girls and be like, hey, and it's like, what's your name? She's like, Marta. Okay, so they were talking, and then they were talking, and he'd be like, oh, by the way, Andrea, what do you think about this? She's like, Andrea, I told you my name was Marta. And then his line was like, I know it sounds like I'm trying to look cool, but sometimes I'm just retarded. And it used to work so well. That's the kind of shit men will do. All right, let's get back to, okay, go, and then we'll get back to business.
One caveat on this whole martial art thing is someone did say that judo is the art of hitting people with the planet, and I can't get it out of my head. And now I want to do judo so bad.
Bro, judo, I've seen they've done some crazy judo shit on me, man. What?
I don't want to break my neck.
Yeah, I mean,
I like my neck.
I think you do, like, the greatest thing about martial arts, man, adds, like, mental benefits. Like, I was more humble in the end, I felt. I was more calm in the end. And it teaches you, it's equivalent of every day. You know how when you're like, you hit a great month in business, and then you see someone hitting that before breakfast, and you're like, oh, man, there's levels to this game. It's that every day. Because the black belt or the purple belt or whatever, they're toying with you. They could just do whatever they wanted to you, but they're just letting you easy. So you learn that every day, and that actually tends to be really good for you because you learn to approach stuff with I know I'm probably going to get submitted. I know this is probably going to suck, but I'm going to try my best anyway. So that was very, very good. It was really tiring.
That literally happened to me this morning. I was like, oh, 10K invoice. And then I'm like, Nick Huber tweet, oh, I have 11 businesses doing like 300 million in revenue. I'm like, huh. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I have 3 kids, 11 businesses, 150 million in revenue, and I only work 30 hours a week. I'm like, huh. That 10K invoice doesn't feel so great anymore.
But can you run? Can you run and shoot, Nick Huber? That's the important question.
For the planet.
Yeah. Can you come over to the podcast and tell us we can run and shoot? Thank you. Somebody tell Nick Huber about this. All right. Next. Offers. I want to get back to business. So offers. Bro, I've realized that there's one thing that makes any offer better. And the bad thing about offers, man, is that a lot of them just look copy-pasted as the same shit. There's one thing that I added to, or I recommend everyone do, and it's really helpful. I wrote about this. So it's like, let's say there's 2 people and they're trying to guide the same person to a diamond that's on the other end of the room, but the room is dark. Person number 1, which is your competition, they say, just hold my hand and trust me, we'll get to the diamond. That's like saying, there's a promise, but trust me, we're going to get there. Your next question is, but how? It's hard. Whereas you, instead, what you do is you bring a flashlight with you and you turn the light on and you show them the way. I feel that showing them the way in any offer is crucial, and it's so useful to have. And I do that with checkpoints. So let's say you are in a 3-month program. You could say, month one, we're going to do this. And we know this step is done. Actually, I'm going to walk you through mine, right? So it's like, first off, we're going to craft your offer. That's going to take us 1 or 2 weeks. We know it's validated when this many people buy. Second of all, we're going to get it to 20K, just 20K. We're going to cash flow this to 20K. And that's how we know we end up on stage 3, which is we work for 20K months. The offer is at 20K a month, right? But now that is like the light. You show people the way. In business or in fitness, it would be first you would lose 5 pounds, and then we'll know it's possible. We'll know some things about your routine and stuff. Then we're going to keep doing that, but we're going to step it up and we're going to lose 20. And in the end, you're going to lose 25. So there's a path. And I feel like when people offer things, they think of them as just like a puzzle piece or something that it's a sentence that is like magical, but it's never that way. We covered offers are not solids, they're liquids. They take the shape of the container they're in. But I feel like lighting that flashlight and making people see the path is so crucial to any offer.
Maybe we should, I feel like this makes me want to go sit down and just read like 2 or 3 books on like the history of universities. Because I feel like us in the alternative, you'd call it like the alternative education space. Like it's alternative education. It's a non-traditional, non-university education, right? I feel like we're figuring stuff out that like it already exists in traditional education, right? Like that right there is such a concept that like us in the coaching space and course space, like most 99.9% of people don't know that. That's great advice. Then you go to like university and I'm like, when you go sign up for a major, they give you a syllabus. They give you your major checklist, and your major checklist has all of the courses you're going to take for freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year. It says these are examples of what your schedule might look like. You might get these internships. These are all the companies you could get. Like this is your roadmap. And at the end, this is your average salary. They literally flashlight you there with checklists for your entire 4 years at the university. By the way, give me $300,000 and I know you're broke, but we're also going to give you debt that you can't bankrupt on. like you want to talk about, that's like the evolution of the education industry is like, I feel like they have it so figured out. It's like, how can we learn from the history of universities and apply that to alternative education? Like that was one of them, right? Like the whole syllabus, it's like a syllabus.
I have an unethical question to make. So can you because you're American, can you just like make your company as the same level as a university? Like you set up like you buy fake land or some shit, and that is like people can default on payments.
You have to become legally accredited. So it's called an accredited university. So like when you apply for a job, it's like you have to have a degree from accredited university. It's basically you have to like pass the regulation to be a university.
Well, that is a shame.
Damn. But that, the workaround now, this is why alternative education is great. And I want you to get someone like this, or one of us needs to get a client in this space, is the coding space. Because the coding space is one of those spaces that's evolved past university. Like you can get out of high school and go to a coding boot camp, learn how to code, and then go get a job at fucking like Netflix. I know it's not that simple, but you actually technically could. Like it's one of those spaces that's really heavily based on how good you are and not just where you went to school. And you could just go to a coding bootcamp. Like imagine you could go to the St. Cash University and just like go get a job at Goldman Sachs. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that, right? Whereas I feel like the whole software space has kind of already hit that. I'm wondering if these other spaces will ever hit that.
Like with marketing, like if you could qualify marketers.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why can't you just go to the Birdhouse University and then go get a job at Ogilvy, the fucking advertising agency? Like in theory, you could as like a graphic designer. That's another space that's hit it, but most of the business space, you have to have a business degree, which is beyond me because the business degrees I know are not very good outside of like the finance degree, which is actually pretty valuable.
Yeah, I bet some finance bros that do well. Isn't Colino Wizard a finance guy? I think he started finance.
I think so. Finance. The finance major is one of the finance and accounting are those two majors where I know at my school at UMass they treated them differently because they are very technical. It's not just like I'm a marketing major is so useless. Like you go to class, like write some shit and draw some pictures. Like it's like,
and when people ask you a question, you just answer with, "But it depends," and that is like, that's how it answers. You got an A+.
But I don't know though.
Yeah, I don't know the podcast. Did you like the podcast with Quinn? Did you enjoy that one?
Quinn, if you're watching this, like
of course he's watching.
he put so much more effort into his intro for his podcast than the other ones, because I feel like that was the best intro of any podcast. The thumbnail is sick. The intro is sick. I'm like, I see you. You know he did. I did the same thing.
Of course. I mean,
It's so good, guys. Like, Quinn's an absolute. He's like such an artist.
yeah, it was good. I enjoyed that one. Okay, let's go with this one. I want to talk about sticking to a cool theme, bro. Have you seen this video? So I'm gonna role play it for you, and you're gonna tell me if you see it. The average penis size in America is 5 inches. You know what the average penis size in my company is? 8.3. Have you seen that YouTube short?
I do. Yeah, that video.
Bro, yeah, it's the best video ever. But it's like that's kind of this guy's theme. He does that kind of stuff. So he has another video where he's like, a pregnant woman wanted my seat at the bus, and I gave it to her for $62,350. And then he's like, you gotta hustle your way out of poverty, whatever. Like, that's some shit. Anyway, he does that kind of talks, right? And that's his theme, and it's crushing. There's this guy Rob as well. He does his theme where he's like, he's a freelancer coach. There's like the beginner freelancer. He tries to give advice, and then there's like the pro freelancer, and then he gives him advice. And at the beginning, I guess Alex Hormuzzi did the talking head videos. Not everybody does talking head videos, but I find a lot of value in finding themes in your content that you're really good at, that you can stick to. So I'll give you an example for mine. I do the other way. I went to the barista and I wanted a coffee. And when I ordered my coffee, she said, would you like to pay with cash or card? And I said, I don't have either. But one time I had a post that got 1,000 likes. She's like, but sir, likes in cash. So I have like this way of saying likes in cash with stupid ass stories, but people like them. So it's kind of this theme that's going on. The guy has the penis size stick. Rob has the freelancer pro versus freelancer beginner advice. And I think that you listening, if you find one style that hits, that is kind of a good reason to not stop, because then because it's on your record and it's original, like it can't be in anybody else's record. Like we said, we're big fans of the Kanye clip on this pod, but big thing, have a theme that only you can do and stick to it, because it's just something that nobody can copy from you, or if they can, it's gotta look like a copy, which actually amplifies your own message. Anyway, find a theme you can stick to, and I think that is going to make you a lot of money.
Totally agree. That's a principle that we apply with our clients a lot. It's like, they don't always come to us with a theme, and part of our challenge is finding them the theme and finding them something to stick to, and then sticking to it. So like that's like half the battle, is finding that theme to stick with. And then, because once you have the theme, your life becomes a lot easier. You know exactly what kind of content to create. Like for you, it's like, but like saying cash is like, it's like direction, right? You sit down to write content for the week. It's like, how can I say like saying cash in a club?
Again,
it's very simple. Like if you didn't have that, it'd be much harder to create content. It's like, your ICP, your theme, the jokes that you make, you know what I mean? It becomes much easier to create content when you have themes and direction and ICPs and stuff like that.
It doesn't even have to be a complex thing. Eddie has watermelons. He'll post anything about watermelon.
Oh yeah, and he added the professional life enjoyer recently as well.
That is Michael Porfirio, bro. Do you know Michael Porfirio?
No.
Michael Porfirio is the greatest X or Twitter. No, he's not X. I'm disrespecting him. I'm sorry. It's the greatest Twitter poster of all time. He disappeared in like 2020, but he has the best tweets ever. Like he's all about enjoying life, having a lot of fun. He has a tweet where he says, he's just a very simple guy. He has a very fresh style. He's like, we enter the kitchen, and our mom asks us, would you like some fish soup? Me, yes. My brother, yes. My father, yes. Then she asks us, did you see what happened in the news? Me, no. My brother, no. My father, no. Then she asks, would you like some more fish soup? Me, yes. My brother, yes. My father, yes. There's a lesson in there. They just like tweets like that for like nonstop fucking 7 years, and they were all great. Michael Porfirio, he has a empty private account, not there anymore. I have a swipe file of it. I'm gonna send it to you. It is the greatest thing you would have ever seen. Homage to the G.
I think we should push it back to what we started with too, because I think the intro will definitely include this. It's becoming the theme of this pod is like lessons we've learned from people that are bigger than us. We name drop so many. This is probably the most name drops we've ever done in a podcast. But I want to talk about like what I talked about with Layla, and then wrap it up with something I learned from Gary Vee. And I think this will probably impact more of the higher level listeners. So if you're a lower level listener, click off. Reverse psychology. You're staying?
You know how on YouTube you can see like the most replayed parts of the video? This is going to be the most replayed part of this video.
So yeah, and when I spoke to Layla, the question I had asked was, how do you create a friendly team culture, especially if you're like a small business and you only have 3, 4, 5 people, you're all similar ages. Like, how do you create a friendly culture while still maintaining like being hardcore mission driven KPIs, etc. And something she said that I took away was interesting. It was the bond you have with teammates is deeper than most bonds you'll ever have with friends. And I thought that was interesting, is because like a teammate is someone that you share a common goal with. So like for you, I like saying Cash, for example, it's like if you have a teammate who genuinely is trying to push that like saying Cash mission with you, your bond might be deeper than a bond you'll ever have with a friend. And it's interesting. It's like you can hit the mission driven side of it by having that common goal and that common mission. And you'll still be friendly because that bond will be so much deeper because they're a teammate. And the flip side is I was watching a Gary Vee video and he was saying how it was a keynote. And it's funny, and I come back to Gary Vee like 3 times a year where I'll like binge his content and then I'll stop and then I'll binge it again because a lot of it's gold. But something he said was as a CEO, it's like your employees don't work for you. It's like you work for them. And I thought that was interesting as well. And it was like, it's an interesting way to treat your company culture and your missions. It's like, how can you serve your team, not how can your team serve you? It's interesting. It's like a riddle.
I would have like 1 month ago I'd be like, fuck yeah, Marcus. Right now it's like, fuck no.
JK the CMO. JK the CMO is like, this is Ryan's job.
Yeah, 100%.
For the listeners that don't know, JK has a CEO for his company. So he's on pure like content mode.
yeah. He's in business. I'm in show business. Essentially, that's how we set up the thing.
It's like this is a conversation too. Is like for me, one thing I always feel like I'm missing is a business partner. I'm just like I have to wear every hat. Some days I'm a COO. Some days I'm a CEO. Some days I have to be the CMO. Some day I'm just pure salesman. You know what I mean? Like you have to put on all the different hats. And like sometimes I do wish I had a business partner that could just like do it. Do the other stuff.
Do you think that now that you're gonna be back in Eastern time, are you gonna be more productive or less productive? Because right now you're in Bali.
You know what's funny is I used to think. Well, I think it was dependent on the season, but in my current season, I will be more. I think my theory is that I'll be more productive on Eastern time because I'm doing more CEO and COO work than I am like creative and marketing. I think doing a lot of deep creative work here was a lot easier because of the time difference, and I could do meetings in the morning and then have like a whole day to myself. Whereas in Eastern time, I'm looking forward to putting all my meetings in one day and then having like 6 days of just like think time and not have to have meetings mornings and nights. So I think it's going to be more productive, but it remains to be seen. I guess we'll find out. What do you think?
That's how I do it too, bro. All meetings on Monday. Like right now, I got this pod, then I got the likes and cash stuff, and then just nothing. Oh well, we got a pod tomorrow, but that's like an anomaly, right? But that's all. But to me, I think that when I am home, I am more productive. But when I travel, I create better stuff because you just get exposed to so many different things, man. Like you can take pictures of Bali. I'm here in Poland, so it's like you see so much stuff going on, and it's just like your best content comes from you walking, you're doing other stuff. I have this, like, you know how you can only pour stuff in a container if there is something in the, like, from a pot, you can only put stuff in a cup if the pot is full, if it has water. I think with content, it actually works the opposite way. You can only pour great stuff if the pot is empty, as in you're running in empty. You don't have thoughts. You're not thinking about what this guy said, or like you're not like painted or tainted by other people's content, which is why I don't personally use swipe files. My swipe file is the world. I just look at stuff, and the world brings things to me, and I put it on the thing. So I think that to create good content, yeah, you can have a full pot, but to create great content, you have to be running on empty. It has to come from within.
Yeah. I think 2 points on that. One is I think swipe files are amazing as a beginner, so you can kind of understand what good content looks like, and then finding your voice, finding your theme. I think when you it's like training wheels. I don't use a swipe file now. You don't use a swipe file now. I think
no, but I did. To your point, I did. Good point.
Yeah, I use yours. So I think swipe files are training wheels. I think the other part, what you said, is important because I think one thing about Bali is that I'm kind of on all the time. It's like I wake up, the first thing I do is have coffee and get on meetings and work. And then I go to the gym and I come back and I work all day. And then I get back on meetings starting at 4, 5, 6 p.m. until bedtime. And then the minute I shut off my last meeting of the day, I get in bed to go to bed and wake up and do it again. So I don't have any downtime to think, which is also why my content has taken a hit here, is I just don't have as much creative thinking time. It's more like work. It's just like work. So I think the Eastern time will help for that. And I think I'm glad this season was important, but I think that the Eastern time is going to be very interesting.
Good. I like that, bro. Okay, so you said 2 points. Did you say 2 or just 1?
I said 2, and then number 3 is, where did you get your apartment in Miami?
Next point. All right, let's see. Nah, I think we covered everything to it. Okay, well, then I'm gonna make a mark over here so Quinn can know.
For what it's worth, this was the longest pod thread page we've ever had, and we covered it fast.
Yeah, we're just like, oh yeah, well,
we're firing on all cylinders. It's the new time for those who we usually record at like 8 a.m. my time. This is 4 p.m. my time, so I think we're just both so much higher energy.
Yeah, I mean, this is like 11 a.m. for me, so we're just going. All right, well, does it ever, okay, we're going personal now. Does it ever, how do you not let competitors bother you? It's not even competitors, but people in your same niche that try to get stuff from you, and it's just like, take. To me, it's, I'll tell you one thing that I do. It's, I call it scarcity and urgency reduce anxiety. So I don't take unlimited clients anymore. I only take 8 every month at this time I'm talking. And it's great because then if somebody's like wishy-washy, I don't have to be follow-uppy with them. I could just be like, yeah, okay, next, right? Somebody falls off, I have a wait list. And it's been great. It's something I told someone who has, okay, so now we go. Now we're revving back up. Okay, so something that somebody told me, he has 0 clients right now. And I told him, find a max of clients he can stick to and just do that. That's what you're using your messaging, because when you have scarcity, when you have urgency, people act. They just do things that they wouldn't do, even if the offer is the same, because people need a reason why to do things. He says, I have 0 clients. I'm like, okay, your max is now 1. You're only going to take 1 client a month, but I can take 5. I don't give a shit. For this month, you're only taking 1 because that is going to be your small win. You need some quick wins right now. So that's what I use in this messaging. I'm only taking 1 more client. What would you know? 1 client falls in 3 days. People just move when you have that kind of urgency. That's kind of how it improved my offer, but it also improved my mood and just being more calm, because I don't take unlimited people anymore, and the feeling is just quite liberating.
Yeah. I think your first question was like, how do you not let a competition?
Yes.
Honestly, I had a moment maybe like 2 weeks ago where I caught a competitor stealing our client hooks and all sorts of shit. And it was just like, I've gotten to a point now where we're just like shutting all competition out and we're just like focusing on scaling ourselves. And the answer is I do let it bother me.
The answer is fuck that guy.
Yeah. I don't like people that copy, because it's just like, it just reeks of like, it's unoriginal. You know what I mean? It reeks of like, just like,
yeah, bro. People say like imitation is the highest form of flattery. I do not agree with that.
Yeah, it's like,
I do not like it.
Yeah. Like, I'm not like threatened. Like, I know they're not going to beat us in any way, but it's just annoying. It's like, it's not just on my behalf too, because I have a team. I'm like, well, my team puts work into, making content, and then they get their content stolen. If I don't do something about it, they feel like I'm not protecting them. You know what I mean? So I'm like, they don't want their content stolen, so I don't want their content stolen. You know what I mean? So they're just like, it makes me want to fucking juice their head.
There you go. So you have one thing that I sometimes it makes me insecure when I hear it from other people. It's the people who like aim for really big stuff. Like that never crossed my mind being on the board of Twitter, and I've been for like a long time on this thing. But you said like that's just how I think. I just aim for that. And when people, I don't know, man, it's like sometimes I just feel like, you know, I wanna run like a 2 million a year business, like just do have no responsibility. That's just kind of what I want to do. But you're like, I don't know. I feel like you aim really big, and sometimes it's like kind of uncomfortable. But like for me, or for maybe other people listening, do you feel like it's? Well, were you always like that?
Yeah. Well, there's two big reasons for it. Is like, so like we're talking about like a lifestyle business, and for me, like my lifestyle that makes me happy is so small. Like I already have it. So for me to not aim any higher would just be so fucking boring. Like I already, if I just stop now, I could live so happy because I have the lifestyle I want. But if I keep aiming higher, then it's actually more fun. Like there's a mission behind it and there's a reason. It's like a quest line for in a game. But then the other is, there's just my favorite quote ever by James Cameron, who was the director of Avatar, the Blue People Avatar. It's if you aim ridiculously high and fail, you'll still fail above everybody else's success. So for me, it's like if I go and reach for, I want to build $1 billion agency and I fail, like maybe I'll still fail at 100 million. You know what I mean? But if I aim for 50K a month or 100K a month, I'll be stuck at 50K a month. Do you know what I mean? So like that's also part of it. It's like, so there's a tactical reason to it, and then there's like a more like deeper reason to it.
There you go. When you say mission, like I promote likes and cash, and you're just like, some people are like, I really resonate with that message. That message is designed to make me money, and that is the main goal. It is not to change the world, period. When do you have like a mission that's like not that selfish in nature?
Yeah, our mission, I'll read it to you. It's to catalyze the growth and impact of high-value education businesses.
But I get that though. But like, do you feel it?
Yeah.
Are you like, this is not just designed to make Marcos rich?
Well, there's a reason behind it too, and it's the problem behind it is like, I don't love the education system. And I think what happened is someone said to me once in college, he was a finance bro, and I was, at the time I was like day trading, and I had made like, you know, a couple $100 or whatever, and I was super happy and excited about it, and I was like this and this, and this kid shut me down and he goes, when you make more than someone at Goldman Sachs, get back to me. And I was just like why would you say that? Like he just like shit on my dream. You know what I mean? Because I was just a day trader trying to make like $1 million, and he was like, when you make as much as someone who works at Goldman Sachs, get back to me. And I was like the education system just like, it breeds just like fucking rats, dude. Like absolute rats. Like what a douchebag thing to say. And that made me hate the education system, and I hated the college system, and I only got my degree because it was free from the Army. And I went through Army education, and that shit sucked too. It was like you didn't learn anything like of practical. Everything you learned that was good was an experience or from your mentors, like nothing from the actual system. So there's something genuinely wrong with the education system. Actually, it's fucked. So I want to fix it.
I like, okay, cool. I respect you more because of that. That's cool. I'm not that, I don't have that, but I like that.
My respect for me, just
it's because
I can't work.
Sometimes I just don't understand it, man. Like I had a call with this other coach one. It's like, first time we met, he's just like, I just want you to win. And I'm like, is that all you want? Like, really? Well, like, what's going on behind it? Like, when I see people that are like super, like so nice, it's like, I just want to do good. But it's like, do you really, bro? Like, so I sometimes just don't really buy it. It's like our mission is changing. I don't know. I think, I don't know, man. I didn't have a fucking mission. I don't have a fucking mission. I don't want to change the world. I just want to be rich and that's it. Like, if anything, like, I don't care how it ends up.
You should read the Elon Musk biography because it's interesting. Because I think you think the same thing about Elon. You're like, why does he want to do it? And you might not even figure out why from the book, because the book is like, as a kid, he just got his ass beat like by other kids and like just bullied, mentally abused, like all this stuff. But the reason he wants to like change the world is there's no like real reason behind. He's like kind of selfish about it. Like he's just like, his reasoning is like, if I don't do it, no one else will. Like it's like I'm better than everyone. Like it's kind of what you're saying. Like he doesn't sugarcoat it though. He's not like, I'm doing this because as a kid, like, I mean, he read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, like the space book, and then he kind of got motivated for it. But I think part of it also plays into like how they say he has Asperger's and bipolar disorder, and like I think part of it is just like that, but there's no true reason behind it other than because, and that's what you're saying. It's like, why?
Yeah, it's like, so I don't get it.
Yeah,
Personally, I don't get it. But I like that it kind of came like your reason, and that reason is kind of similar to the reason I'm going to show next. It's kind of because we got kind of petty. It's like, fuck you, man. I'm going to show you. Like, okay, content. I think that people have their content is valuable, but I think they have the wrong perception of value. There's emotional value, and then there's logical value. Logical value is, here's my tips, take them, use them. But what happens is you get people on calls, and all that happens is they go on the call and go, yeah, this was great. Thank you for all the value. I want to implement it first, though, and then get back to you. And they never do. Whereas emotional value persuades, but it persuades differently. It hits you with the belief that you can change things. So I was fat for a long time, and I watched videos with a lot of practical value and how to get fit. Nothing really made me do something about it. But one time I gained like 30 to 40 pounds in college, bro. I was just chilling there in my house, and my dad, who I didn't have a good relationship with at the time, he goes, got a pretty round belly now, don't you, son? I got so pissed. It's like, yeah, fuck this. That day, I was making $250 a month. I spent $20 a month on a gym membership at that point, which is like 10% of my salary, right? So I'm like, yeah, fuck this. I'm getting into shape. So emotional value persuades differently. And that came from a negative thing. That guy persuaded you. Actually, you could say that he was kind of a douche, but he did some good for you, even if it came from a negative place. And maybe the other people, for Elon, that was too. So maybe that's your why. You're just petty as fuck.
He's going to watch this and be like, damn, I live in your head rent free.
Yeah, bro.
I make more than some of that Goldman Sachs, kind of.
How much did he make at Goldman Sachs?
Honestly, I probably make way less than like some of them, but like Goldman Sachs is like entry level is like 6 figures, like 100K. But I think at the higher level, like partner level, is millions.
He's watching this, just like looking at you like from above, like, oh, he's still there.
Whatever.
Give me a year.
Yeah, this is a good podcast. Whatever.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. By the way, my respect for you went up, man. Like, I really like that you have that mission. I didn't know that about you. I thought your mission was just making Marcos rich. I think this is more noble.
Man, I just want to like play video games and drink coffee, and then also change the world. It's like I'm one of those low maintenance rich people where it's like I don't want to get rich to like spend it. I just want to get rich to like not have to worry about money.
You're champagne income with beer taste.
That's actually it. It's literally, I want champagne income and like Guinness and like chicken fingers taste.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. This was the bot. Thanks, everybody. See ya.
Cheers.